What's up, Bladers? This is Casual Beybladeorx, and you know the drill. We've once again entered a tournament at Banana Games and Hobby in downtown Toronto. Let's go over the deck I used in this tournament and why I went with the bays I did. Starting with my main Golem Rock, but on 770 Hexa this time. Real talk, I was about to bench Golem for this tournament, and for the foreseeable future. These last few weeks, I got hit with the realization that the meta just isn't favorable for a blade this light. It's got some decent matchups, but there's moments where even on the offensive, Golem can deflect off heavier bays and get pocketed. With some heavy testing, I was slowly getting discouraged to play with Golem. But I decided against benching Golem and went with 770 Hexa. My thought was to lean into its defensive nature instead of my more recent offensive builds. 770 has some incredible weight, which is much needed, while Hexa is amazing at repositioning and taking the center, letting the bit's extra gears catch the rail for counterattacks. It's essentially the best of both worlds. For our second spot, Shark Skill 170 Low Rush. Easily becoming a meta staple. Shark is a great bay against almost every other bay out there right now. 170 seemed like a good choice since skill doesn't really have the same upper attack as edge, so being low isn't necessarily a benefit for it. But adding low rush does even that height difference added by 170, so it kinda just equals out. In my last spot, we got Hover Wyvern 960 Rush. I threw Hover in here because I just wanted to try it out. I don't think I've used it since my unboxing video, so I was curious to how it plays since a lot of people are enjoying using it. I went with 960 Rush because it's a basic bitch setup. I usually just throw this on when I don't know what it would be good on. In hindsight though, I think I would have done 160 Kick, but that's for another tournament I guess. Quick Mentality and Goal Check. I've been on a bit of a losing streak, so I'm going into this with absolutely no pressure. Here to have fun and try all these new bays and combos. My goal for this tournament is to launch with clean tech, keep my launcher very still, and rip with some power, but still have control. I've felt a lack of power recently, so I want to change that. Before we start, let me just run down the rules of the tournament. It's a 3v3 deck format with 6 Swiss rounds, first to 4 points, and top cut rounds, first to 7 points. Full punish rules are in effect, so all over, extreme, and burst finishes are completely counted even with no contact, which is fucking crazy. Means there's no room for error. Oh, also, if you've been tantalizing over a bay and haven't bought it yet, then now might be the perfect chance with today's sponsor, Mall of Toys. They got the new stuff, they got the old stuff, and they got bays yet to be released. You can order now with the link in the description below and use my code CASUAL at the checkout for 5%. Alright, that's enough yapping, let's get into these battles. First match, we got Golem vs Pegasus Blast on Low Rush. This is a matchup that should favor Golem since Blast's not on a stamina build. I just gotta hold out for the endgame. A good launch into some quick little hits. Ooh, some heavy hits. Golem doing an amazing job at tanking these. Ooh, and you can see it's destabilized Blast now. Some good back and forth, but not enough strength or spin to stop Golem, taking the spin. Next, my Shark vs Tyranno B on Rush. Battle of the prehistorics, let's go. God damn, one massive exchange, and Shark gets the over finish with ease. Honestly, I was about to knock my launch, but it worked out. Finishing the rotation, we have my Hover vs Wizard Rod on Hexa. A quick tap into a chase down, a failed extreme into a successful extreme, but Hexa counters immediately. Hover catching the rails and almost getting the pocket. I'm actually so surprised at how many clean rail rides Hover has gotten this match. But yeah, all that stamina got drained. Wizard on Hexa, man. It's just so good at eating shots. My opponent takes the spin on that. Time to reshuffle, and with the lead, I decided to go Golem up first against my opponent's Wizard Rod. I had a feeling he'd choose Rod. Unless there's a crazy extreme or overfinish, I'm fine losing to the spin finish here, since I'm more confident in my two remaining attackers versus his. A lot of good hits with some pocket scares, but Wizard is just not budging. We're both on our last legs, but Wizard just squeezes a little more out. Next, we have my Shark against his Pegasus Blast. Exactly the matchup I wanted, since Shark is so small and can really bully taller bays. I just wanted the battle to speak for itself. I'm very proud of that launch. This starts me off at 1-0, starting the tournament off strong. For the first round, we got my Golem versus Wizard on Hexa again. Ooh, that hurts. Insanely unfortunate self-extreme, giving me an instant 3 points. Next is my Shark vs Hover 760 Low Rush. This shit was anime as fuck. Shark hitting Hover into the shroud. It falls and almost double pockets me into a reverse self pocket. Is crazy. This puts me at 2-0 now. So round 3, I forgot to record, and sadly I lost. But you know what they say, picks or it didn't happen. Yeah, I'm kidding, there's actual proof. I lost 3-4 with the lead, which is extra sad. Golem got me a sweet extreme, but I couldn't close it out. The opponent was really tough. So that puts me at 2-1 now. This match starts with Golem vs Wizard Rod on Hexa again. I think you're starting to see a pattern. Like I mentioned, it's a hard matchup. Generally an L for Golem, but there's sometimes where it can hit or destabilize Rod. This would have been a perfect launch, but I got stuck on the rail. Thankfully Rod helped me out. But I definitely don't see me winning this round now. Some big hits, but nothing significant to turn the tides. Wizard takes the spin finish. Next, my Shark vs Hover on 760 Rush. Almost got sniped there, but managed to sneak up over the rails to avoid it. Shark then lets out an explosive attack, sending Hover flying into the pocket. Quick pause. So in this situation, the ruling is considered an overfinish. This is a rule dependent on where you might play, but lately at Banana, if the bay comes out of the pocket and isn't spinning in its original orientation for at least a full rotation, it doesn't count as a spin finish. It counts as an overfinish. Moving on to the next battle, my Hover vs Night Mill on Low Rush. Insane initial hits. Night Mill missing what could have been a game ender. Damn, not once but twice. These two are really slugging it out. Hover looks like it's all gassed out. By a fucking miracle, takes the spin finish. Okay, I'll take that. We reshuffle our decks, and I decide to put Golem up versus Hover. Scary matchup. They both can be very unpredictable, but if I can hold out, I should get the spin. Golem barely survives the pocket. Hover looking for anything at this point. Almost pocketing me again, but Golem tanks every hit it takes and gives me the spin finish, putting me at 3-1. Starting round 1 with my Golem versus Shark Scale on kick. Scary launch, could have easily gotten pocketed. Massive hit, really shaking both of us. I literally kissed the extreme line. So many scary exchanges for me in this round, but I do get the spin finish. Next, my Shark versus Hover. I get a good launch that drops me right on top of Hover and pockets it. Moving on, we have Hover versus Phoenix Wing. I get a great false launch that positions me in the perfect place to pocket Wing, putting me up 4-1 now. Starting match 6 with my Golem versus, you guessed it, Wizard Rod. Unfortunately, my opponent whips his rod into the pocket, giving me the lead. Next round, we have my Shark versus his Scorpion Spear on Rubber XL. Very interesting build. Some wild back and forth hits. Maybe a little too wild because Scorpion finds its way into the pocket, putting my final Swiss score at 5-1, ensuring I've made it to the top cut with no doubts. Alright, we made it to top cut. Like I mentioned earlier, instead of 4 points, it'll be 7 going forward. I start with my trusty Golem Rock against Wizard Rod. Some insane back and forth hits. Golem getting a pocket attempt, but Rod holds on. Wizard comes right back with a pocket attempt of its own. And then Golem says right back at you. Such a well-fought match, but Golem loses with the spin finish. Next round, my Shark versus his Shark on Rush. Good launch by me. And in the perfect position for an extreme finish. For the third round, we have Hover versus Phoenix Wing. Heavy initial hits into a wild rail ride from Hover. Missing the first 2, but getting a big hit. Unfortunately, those wild movements and hits took all the stamina out of Hover, giving Phoenix the spin finish. Now we reshuffle our decks. I decide to go with Shark first since it's honestly been holding it down this whole tournament. My opponent picks Wizard Rod, which means I gotta end it real early. Very hard for Shark. Wizard didn't let me get any momentum going. I lose to a spin finish. Next, Golem vs Shark. A matchup that I'm confident in when it comes to the long game. Pretty good launch again. Golem keeping in the upper half. But an unlucky recoil off the back of the stadium sends me into the pocket. It's not looking good for me. Ending the rotation with Hover versus Phoenix Wing. Ooh, that might be one of the cleanest sequences in the tournament so far, and exactly what I needed to stay in this match. Back to the reshuffle. It'll be Shark versus Phoenix. This could be game for either one of us. Scary hit from Phoenix, sending my Shark into the pocket and back. Really slugging it out. A bit of a wobble from Phoenix, making me think I could take this. But Shark gasses out sooner. It's game point for my opponent. And we both had the same mindset. Our second bays are our stamina defense bays. Golem versus Wizard Rod. A matchup that has plagued me this whole tournament. For everyone watching, I'm gonna need your energy. And Golem showing why he's the main character. With that, I'm on to the semi-finals. So here's the thing. Remember that match I forgot to record? Well, funny enough, it's the same exact opponent I'm gonna be up against in the semis. Alright, starting the match off with Golem versus Hover on level. Insanely hard launch from my opponent. Near misses. Golem tanks a big hit. And some smaller hits here and there. But at this point, Hover seems to have lost a lot of its stamina, giving me the spin finish. Next, Shark vs. Wizard Rod on Hexa. I get a decent false launch into a wind-up that almost pockets Rod. Shark fighting but not able to get any serious hits. I lose this round to spin finish. For the third round, we have my Hover versus Shark. Explosive launches. Hover almost getting that pocket. Again, Hover with another pocket attempt. Crazy how hard these two bays can hit. Luckily, I get the spin finish on this one. We reshuffle, and it ends up being my Golem versus Hover again. Damn, what a hit! Golem took the brunt force of that one. You can see I'm partially burst. I need to survive and not give up the 2 points. Phew, at least it's just the spin finish. Next, we have Shark vs. Wizard. I get a pretty good launch and a hit to begin the round. But the uncontrollable recoil sends my Shark zipping onto the rails and into the extreme pocket. That's so unfortunate. Especially because it hasn't gone out of control like this the whole tournament. Moving on, we have my Hover vs. Shark. Good launch. Some heavy hits that destabilize my Hover. It's not looking good for me. There was a sliver of hope, but Shark gets the spin finish. Next round, we have Shark vs. Wizard again. Some good small hits. Oof, almost an over finish, but 170 comes in clutch. Shark retaliating, but just can't crack that Wizard Rod wall. And with that, my tournament run comes to an end. I made it to 4th place, which is pretty good. I feel like I met the goals I set. I was proud of a lot of the launches and overall power I was delivering. I also really thought this was a fun deck. Golem really outdid itself and showed me why it still deserves the main spot. Shark was an absolute monster. I understand the hype now. It was definitely the MVP of the tournament run. And Hover, I have mixed feelings about. It did good, but I feel like I didn't utilize it in the proper way. So maybe I gotta hit the lab with it. But all in all, a fun tournament with some dope moments. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. Extreme dash that like button and hit the subscribe for more Beyblade videos. Until then, see ya!